I accidentally clicked it one too many times and it stopped recording. Hello there! I'm Scotty, you're not. Welcome back to the Ninja Turtles Revisited, yes. Yes, and we are on the 2014 Michael Bay produced, wink wink, Ninja Turtles movie. Yes. So, after TMNT came out and did not do very well, you still had whatever was left of the 2003 TV series, which ended with Turtles Forever. Didn't talk about that, it was a TV movie. I also forgot to mention that also in between the third movie in TMNT, there was the very maligned Ninja Turtles Next Mutation cartoon on Fox Kids, and I forgot to turn off the TV on Fox Kids. When I was 11 years old, it was fine, but I bought the DVDs and started watching it, and it's stupid, and it sucks. And it retcons a lot of stuff, but that they say that show is also sort of in continuity with the movies. Although Eastman and Laird have gone on the record of saying that if future Ninja Turtle stuff is to be made, Venus is not allowed to be in it. They don't want anything to do with that. No. So, yeah. So then there was nothing from Ninja Turtles after Turtles Forever. There was nothing, and then Nickelodeon bought the rights to the Ninja Turtles, just like they did Power Rangers, and we got a 2012 TV series, which is actually pretty good. And since people were becoming fans of that, they decided, hey, we're gonna make a new live action movie. Yeah, produced by Michael Bay. Yeah, and then rumors started circulating. Oh boy, this rumored movie would have gone down worse than the Snow White movie, of how much hatred there was for what they were supposedly going to do. I've always had a theory that this was what they were going to do, but that Michael Bay saw the writing on the wall with how pissed people are and course corrected. Because I think he was out to please fans because he course corrected twice technically. We'll get into that second one when we talk to the movie. Talk about the movie. Talk to the movie. Hello, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? Are you okay? I'll talk about the movie. But anyway, the original idea that was going out there, the rumors that I totally think was originally the idea, is that it was going to be called Ninja Turtles. You're going to be aliens from outer space. And they were going to come to Earth, where they would be tracked down by someone in the U.S. military by the name of Colonel Schrader. That was the plot that they went through. Fans heard us and went, fuck no, we ain't doing that. No, hell no. No, we gotta stop this. And then it was changed. The real synopsis came out. Like I said, I think it was course corrected. They were writing this script, something got leaked, and people got all pissed. And okay, we gotta change it. We gotta change it. So, 2014, we got this film, which I never hated. I like it just fine. I enjoy it. I do. I really do enjoy it. I think it's the best one since the second one. I still there's two up higher, but I think it's the best one since the second one. But then there was also issues because rumors started swirling about changes. One particular character, the villain, was changed. Like I said, we'll get to him. But they also were taking away the backstory of Hamato Yoshi and Oroku Saki. Kind of. We'll get to that. And so then they have to come up with a reason why the Turtles are the way they are, and no. So the casting rumors came along. Megan Fox was cast as April. People started also complaining about that, but I was in my, crushing on Megan Fox phase of my life at that point, so I was like, all right, cool, yeah, that works. But I was also confused. I was like, well, she was fired from Transformers 3 for basically calling Michael Bay Hitler. Or Nazi, it was the same thing. And now she's back in this, but he was producing it. I do this because I feel like he did a lot more than just produce it. I'm just saying. There's a lot of Bayisms in this, except for explosions. There's really only one or two explosions, which he didn't directly direct it. So I think he had more to do with this than he did with Bumblebee, and I think that was more of a choice from the studio. Like, no, you need to not, because every time you get involved with something, Anyway, so let's talk about the movie, shall we? So, we get a quick backstory, kind of like the beginning of TMNT, only this is a different backstory. Oh, I have raised you turtles in the sewer. So our cast, besides Megan Fox, my throat is dry, sorry. Tony Shalhoub is Master Splinter. Now, another thing that was said that the turtles were going to be CGI. That was another... Because us fans of those in the practical suits, we have to accept that the practical suits are never coming back. As much as everybody wants them, they're gone. CGI is just more practical, I guess. More practical to click some buttons and click a mouse and do stuff than it is to actually create a suit. Because people are lazy nowadays. They're like, well, that's the way it was always going to head towards. Yeah, because you're all too lazy to actually build the suits and put any kind of effort into that. So we're going to CGI them. Yes. So it came out, right? We got to mention. It came out. I went to the theater to see it. I liked it. And then it was going to come out on Blu-ray, right? And they announced that Target was having exclusive slipcovers, one for each turtle. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go to Target. I want to get Raphael because he's my favorite turtle. I get there, and if they didn't have Raphael, that was fine. I could have gotten Leonardo, could have gotten Michelangelo, but somebody up there hates me. So not only was Raphael not there, but the only available slipcover was my least favorite turtle of all time, Donatello. And I've been stuck with this goddamn slipcover for 11 years. Because they didn't have Raphael. And they didn't have a regular slipcover like the second one does. So I had, if I wanted it, I either had to take it as it was, or I thought about taking the slipcover off and just buying them. That's all they had was Donatello. Because nobody likes Donatello. So that's all they had left. Everybody bought all the ones that they liked and left Donatello because nobody likes Donatello. So who had to get... I'm probably the only one in the world that has a Donatello slipcover because... Yeah, I'm sorry. To this day, it frustrates me. Which brings me to the voice actors. So they achieve the turtles through motion capture. And for the most part, people who do the motion capture do the voices. So you have Jeremy Howard, who I know is the guy who likes to blow shit up with his mind from Accepted, as Donatello. And for his part, he's pretty good. Noel Fisher, who I know is the kid who gets blown up on the grill in Final Destination 2. You know him from Shameless, probably. I've never watched that show. He's Michelangelo. Raphael is played by Alan Richardson, who you know as Reacher, I knew as Aquaman, and Thad freaking Castle from Blue Mountain State, which at the time I didn't know because I didn't watch Blue Mountain State yet. After some point afterwards, I did. So, yeah, and then, excuse me. Leonardo is a double effort. The motion capture is done by Pete Plosnick, I think I'm saying that right, who would take over the role in the second film, but the voice work is done by Johnny Knoxville because I think they wanted someone new. Knoxville did not come back for the sequel. Will Arnett plays not Vernon Thompson. We're close. Oh, he's playing Vernon, and his name's going to be Vern. Why? I don't know. But he's complete total opposite of Vernon in every single way. Vernon is a scaredy cat, bitch, And he sort of stands up, but he's comedic. He's the comedy thing. And then they not only gender swapped, but race swapped Bern Thompson as Bernadette Thompson and it's Whoopi Goldberg. And I don't really think you need her in the movie. There's another guy who could have been Bern Thompson that's kind of yelling at her through most of the movie, too, or at least the beginning of it. But the biggest casting, William Fichtner, as Eric Sachs. Eric Sachs is one of the main villains of this movie. Again, we'll discuss it. We'll get to a certain point, but we'll discuss it. They also bring in, there's the Foot Clan, and we have Kurai. Again, her existence in this movie, much like TMNT, doesn't really make any sense. I think someone just wanted her to be involved in the movie. She's not really any part of the character. She's not even the Shredder's daughter. The Shredder is also kind of non-existent. He's sort of in the background until the final act, and again, there is a reason for that. But let's get started. So we get that opening monologue from Splinter, played by Tony Shalhoub, telling us, I raised him in the sewers, and my son soon, now would be the time for you to protect people. And then, yeah. The logo. Movie starts with me, April O'Neil, played by Megan Fox. And right away, she's trying to do serious things, trying to track down the Foot Clan. But all they have her do is like little puff pieces on, like, she's doing this piece on exercising in the middle of the day where they gotta go like this so Michael Bay can get his jollies off of her cleavage. I don't know. I don't get it. And it's kind of sexist because, I don't know. But like, and the way that her character is treated throughout the film, where like, she's trying to push this case for the Foot. Everything she does just irritates her boss. Like at one point, she comes to Thompson, to Whoopi Goldberg, and says, "Hey, there are turtles, giant turtles, and I have proof." She's like, "Well, you won't come to me with this story without proof. I have proof." And she like rolls her eyes, and I'm like, "Well, what's the point in that? You asked for proof. She's giving you proof. Why are you acting like a bitch? What the hell is the problem?" And again, I think the way Michael Bay wrote this, it would have worked if this was a man, and it would be a message of, oh, the man is trying to hold this woman down because she's a woman. But it just comes off as just that Whoopi Goldberg just doesn't care about finding a news story, which doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, she's doing this. She's talking to this guy who looks like Gordon Ramsay. Even a nostalgia critic pointed it out that he does. And this ends up with her going to the docks at night, finding the Foot, who are not necessarily ninjas, but more like a terrorist group of sorts. But they can't call them that because it's New York, you know. They have guns instead of actual weapons. And the turtles show up and thwart them, and she sees this, and she takes a picture of like a logo or something. That's when she goes to talk to her boss. Also, she has a roommate, which doesn't really do much. Abby Elliott was announced to play a roommate. I'm like, oh, Irma? No, it's someone else. She's not even really a part of this movie, to be honest. But then we meet our turtles. You know who they are. Or do we not meet our turtles? That's just original. We follow April for most of it. We meet one of our villains, Eric Sachs, and he is doing this press conference for something. I don't know what the hell he's talking about in this, but he's talking about progress, I guess. And he reacquaints with April because he knew her father. And her father died when she was little. Because this is a comic book movie, so that has to happen, you know. Yeah. Yeah. So she recognizes this symbol, but she can't really figure out what it is. And then realize it's connected. She starts looking through old video files that she has. and finds, the recordings of her with the turtles and Splinter the rat, and finds the connection. So she goes to talk to Eric Sachs, and she basically just blurts out that the turtles are alive and that they've mutated. He tells this story, which I think was half fabricated for reshoots. We'll talk about it. Where he... Actually, it does kind of make sense if it wasn't for reshoots, because he's talking about how he was raised in Japan, and he had like a sensei, and then he was... and all that stuff, all this backstory that he has, and then it's revealed that he is reporting to the Shredder, who's always in the distance, and you can never see his mouth move. Really? Because reshoots. Talk about it. So, April eventually is taken to the turtles' lair. At this. Because she does have an encounter with the turtles before this, where they basically wonder, hey, we'll find you. And, so then Splinter says, April, you have to bring her here, because he remembers her. And so they tell what happened. They were in there. There was a fire that was caused, and, well, when Sax tells the story, he says it was the foot that was responsible for the fire. We later find out that actually it was April's father who found out what Sax was doing, Sax and the Shredder was doing. And again, a lot of this exposition is told to April as a static shot of April, and the dialogue is coming from off screen. So it screams of reshoots. I'm just saying. After Madam Web, I'm starting to learn about that stuff. Because I didn't get it when I first watched Madam Web, and then people would watch people's reviews and I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. Yeah. Then she realized that she'd been tracked there, and the Foot and the Shredder show up. And yes, the Shredder looks like a Transformer. It is Michael Bay after all. And the Shredder lays in everyone. Apparently, the Turtles the mutant gene is going through the Turtles. Which, in this one, they claim they created it. I think. Maybe they didn't, maybe he doesn't, but I thought it is implied they created it. But the mutant gene is going through the Turtles is something, it's like something that they could use to stop like a poison gas type thing from harming people. And they could use that as sort of a cure so it doesn't kill people, And he explains this to... Sax explains this to April. My brain fart there. He explains this to April, and then when all this is like, Sax works for the Shredder, and you can't trust him, the Shredder shows up, and he kidnaps 3 of the Turtles, and they leave Raphael for dead, and Splinter for dead. This is kind of mean. They're like, we need the mutant so we can save Splinter. Then they just leave him alone in the sewers to just lay there. And I'm pointing out, this plot point is stolen from the Power Rangers movie. Guarantee you, someone, they have to go get something to save him. And I don't know. So now Raphael is with April and Vern as they're going to go try to stop Sax. Now, here is where I talk about the reshoots, because you'll notice that I've been talking a lot about Eric Sachs and not really that much about the Shredder until this fight. And he also noticed that in this scene after the fight and the attack on the Turtles' base, right? Eric Sachs is wearing what Tony Stark would wear under his suit. It's like a white leotard type, or a black leotard type thing. And he's walking around talking about how he's going to be stupid rich. He's already rich, but he's going to be stupid rich when he holds the world for ransom, basically, for this cure for the gas. My question is, why gas? Gas usually works real quick, unless it's like the gas from Saw 2, where it's like, they say it's a chemical agent, so maybe it's one of those that it takes a while to completely affect the body, I guess. I don't know. Makes sense in that context, I guess. But if you notice that Sax is at the forefront of a lot of this, it's because he was originally supposed to be the Shredder. But again, hardcore fans of the Ninja Turtles bitched and complained, and they had to change it. And I hate to say this, but there are people when the sequel to this came out that bitched and complained about that movie. And it's your fault, people who bitched and complained, because they had a clear-cut course for this character. And you forced them to do reshoots which changed the way the character was. So now, the Shredder is a character that's not really associated with the Ninja Turtles at all. So we don't have any character development for him because he was forced into reshoots where he was in the background. So now you get to the sequel and there's really nothing for him. He's a nothing character because he didn't have any character development, because that's not what they wanted to do. But you forced them to do it. So now that character is ruined because you forced them to change it. If you left it alone, if you just shut your goddamn mouths and let them try something new for once. Because I remember when it was announced Eric Sachs was going to be the Shredder. And I'm like, that could be interesting. I know he's not Japanese, but I don't care. That could be interesting. Change it up a little bit. But no, we gotta have everything exactly the way it is supposed to be. So, yeah. So that happened. Even Eric Sachs is an Americanized version of the name Orokusaki. But no, Turtles fans gotta whine and complain. So we got this. And so he's talking about his plan, and then April, why do I keep forgetting her name? April, Vern, and Raphael bust in. They save the Turtles by using a tread of land and a soul and something. No, Cody Rhodes. And so they're going to take down the Shredder. They knock Sax out because, you know, we don't need him for the rest of the movie now that we demanded that he not be the Shredder. Even though he's supposed to be the Shredder. I don't know if that's a reshoot showing him get knocked out. I don't know. He does run off, which could also be him getting into the suit later. I don't know. But the Shredder is now going to affect the world with this gas. And I watched Chris Stuckman's review for it, and he mentioned that this is almost exactly like the end of Amazing Spider-Man. And I can't stop thinking about that. He's right. He's goddamn right. Villain's going to activate this gas. It's going to infect the entirety of New York City. And then they got to fight it. They got to try to stop it. And it is stopped in the Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man, I'll point out, it's reversed. But here, it's just stopped. Yeah, and the Turtles fight the Shredder playing Buck Buck. So they must have watched Fat Albert growing up, right? The movie, because I don't think that was a part of the show. I never heard of Buck Buck before the Fat Albert movie, so I don't know. Maybe it was part of the show. I watched a couple episodes of the show back in the day, like random from the library and stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, they attack him. And a lot of people were also pissed that April gets the final blow. It works because how many times... I mean, the cartoons kind of portray her as a damsel in distress. It's only recent stuff. Like, I think the 2003 version and 2012 version were having her sort of be more in the forefront than just being kidnapped, like the one from the 87 show. And even the one from, you know, the two Aprils we got in the earlier films weren't that bad. Sure, they had to rescue her in the third one, but she wasn't no damsel, really. She had the 90s gumption of a 90s woman, right? She had a gumption of a 90s woman. Yeah. So they defeat the Shredder, and it looks like he absorbed some of the ooze. I will point out, I was a bit frustrated the ooze was purple. I was hoping they'd go back to green. I know that purple was in the 2012 series, and I don't remember the 2003. Was it purple too? I don't know. I just remember the ooze being green. I wanted to go back to being green, and it's purple. There's a reason for that. It's in the sequel, and maybe they had that idea. I don't know. But, yeah. And, we end with a Michael Bay explosion, because, yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it, but April gets fired from her job partway through the movie, because Bernadette Thompson's a bitch. And then Vernon, his van got all blown up because there's that chase down the snow hill for some reason. It's a pretty cool scene, but I passed over it because it's not really necessary. It's just Michael Bay needed an action scene here, so we're doing it. You know? But this is after they rescued them, but then they go to New York. I think. Did I miss a whole section? I swear it was right after they chased him to the top of the roof. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I really don't know. But anyway, we get the turtle van, which they took from the old Fenwick Express. And Vern has a new car, which is blown up by Mikey, because we need an explosion in a Michael Bay movie. Michael Bay said, I need just one explosion, okay? Please? Just one? This one, Michael Bay! I'm trying to do nostalgia critics. I need one explosion for the Bay. But yes. So we get one explosion. Yeah. That's it. They say goodbye. We get that killer song, by the way. Not you about to get shell shocked. Not you about to get shell shocked. I like that song. I have that on my Spotify. I like it. I remember sitting in the theater going, and coming home and listening to it on YouTube, isn't it? But yeah, I like it. I didn't hate this movie. I think all the hate comes from people who just don't like Michael Bay. And don't get me wrong, I don't like Michael Bay. But I feel like it's one of those things where they hated on it solely because Michael Bay was involved. And they just rolled their eyes at everything. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. I skipped over. When Splinter, they do save Splinter, by the way. They get the mutagen and they bring him back to life. I forgot that part. Because that's the Power Rangers thing. But anyway, from the movie. When Splinter is explaining their backstory, he says, because we got rid of their Japanese background and there's no Hamato Yoshi, he taught them how to do karate or ninjutsu from an old book he found. And I quote James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd. It's in Japanese. So how is he able to read it? Can he read Japanese? Were they, like he said, teaching Japanese on a corner on a top every hour? What? How did he learn? And even his design is kind of Japanese. He's got a little bun, got the little mustache, the little Fu Manchu thing coming down. But he's not Japanese. He just likes Japanese culture. Did this rat know Japanese before? I don't know. It's a bit confusing. But anyway, yes. When it comes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014, it's pretty good. I like it. All right? When we talk about the next one, we're going to have some issues because they tried to give us everything we wanted, and then they did it wrong. So, yeah. So what are your thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2014? In the comments below, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.